After 14 years, I discovered my son wasn't mine. My wife left for his rich biological dad, but in court, my son revealed a shocking truth about them. It never occurred to me that I would be authoring a piece like this. My entire world has been turned upside down, and I am having a hard time making sense of all that has happened. My guess is that I ought to begin at the very beginning. Before yesterday, I was under the impression that my life was going very well. I am a man who is 35 years old. My wife Rebecca and I have been married for 14 years, and we have a son named Adam who is also 14 years old. When Rebecca got the news that she was expecting, we decided to be married. Although I had no intention of becoming a father, I was delighted to take on the role. I have loved Adam with every single fiber of my being ever since the minute he was born. I witnessed his first steps, his first words, and every other significant moment that has occurred since then. For the purpose of ensuring that we had sufficient funds to provide him with a pleasant life, I worked 2 jobs. Although it was not always simple, I never once grumbled about it. Isn't that what fathers are supposed to do? I made it a point to constantly strive to be the best possible father I could be. In addition to attending all of Adam's soccer games, I assisted him with his homework and gave him instruction on how to ride a bike. Every year throughout the summer, my kid and I would go on camping excursions together, just the 2 of us. In my entire life, those were some of the most memorable moments. Despite the fact that I was not flawless, I always prioritized my family. I went to great lengths to ensure that Adam had everything he required for school, even if it meant there were occasions when I had to skip lunch at work. For his birthday the previous year, I put up money for months in order to purchase him the most recent gaming machine. When he opened it, the expression on his face was worth every extra shift that I worked over and over again. Just like any other relationship, Rebecca and I had our share of highs and lows, but I always assumed that we were content. In the month prior, we celebrated our 14th wedding anniversary by having a delicious meal at our house. Even a card was designed for us by Adam. Our refrigerator still has it, or at least it did before. Yesterday began in the same manner as any other day. First thing in the morning, I went to my first job, and then in the afternoon, I did my second job. I was looking forward to making it home and eating dinner with my family when I finally arrived. Nevertheless, I saw that something was odd when I stepped through the door. The house had an excessively low volume. The majority of the time, Rebecca would be in the kitchen, while Adam would be either watching television or playing video games. On the other hand, there was nothing. There were no sounds, and there were no smells, just quiet. Although I yelled out for them, there was no response to my appeal. I went to Adam's room, thinking that perhaps he was doing so because he was wearing headphones and couldn't hear me, but his room was completely vacant. It was missing a few of his favorite books and some of his favorite outfits. As I made my way to our bedroom, my heart began to beat really fast. After that, I noticed the note that was sitting on the bedside table. Rebecca's handwriting was clear and legible. It was difficult for me to pick it up and begin reading since my hands were shaking. During the time that has passed, the contents of the note have been playing over and over again in my head. Rebecca informed me in writing that she and Adam were going to leave me. That, however, was not even the most terrible aspect. The fact that I am not Adam's biological father was disclosed by her. It was just before we started dating that Rebecca had a brief relationship with another man, as stated in the note. When she discovered that she was pregnant, she took it for granted that it was my child. According to her, she was able to persuade herself that it was genuine because she desired for it to be true. However, suddenly, after a period of 14 years, Adam's biological father had returned to the conversation. As Rebecca wrote, he expressed his want to be a part of their life and she had made the decision to provide him with the opportunity to do so. Adam, she added, deserved to know who his biological father was. It seemed as if I was unable to take a breath. This place was whirling around. I made my way to the bed and sat down, attempting to make sense of what I had just read. What the heck might be going on here? What could Rebecca possibly have done to me, to us? As I continued to read the note, I hoped to find some explanation that would make sense of everything that was going on. Rebecca expressed her regret in writing that she had lied for all of these years. In spite of the fact that she was aware that it was unethical, she stated that she was afraid of losing me and of being a single mother. In her statement, she asserted that Adam's biological father was prosperous and had the ability to provide them with a better life. In her letter, she mentioned that Adam was looking forward to meeting his biological father and beginning a new life. It was that particular region that caused the most pain. For the past 14 hours, I have been attempting to make sense of everything that has happened. I've experienced every feeling that can possibly be imagined, including shock, anger, despair, and betrayal. Over the course of the past day, I have shed more tears than I have in my whole life. Every time I think about Adam, I am reminded of all the times we have spent together, such as when I taught him how to tie his shoelaces, when I stayed up all night to cheer him on during his soccer games, and when I stayed up all night when he had the flu. Were all of those memories a fabrication? I can't help but wonder whether Adam ever had any suspicions about anything. Did he ever get the impression that I wasn't his true father? Did Rebecca ever make a passing reference to it? It seemed like we had a wonderful relationship, but now I'm having second thoughts about everything. I have attempted to contact Rebecca and Adam by calling and messaging them, but both of their phones are currently turned off. I went so far as to drive by Rebecca's parents' house, just in case they were there, but there was no indication that they were there. I have the impression that my entire life has been a lie. Having been a husband and a father for the past 14 years, I have devoted my entire existence to these roles. I've put in a lot of effort to make sure that my family is taken care of, and now, in the blink of an eye, everything that I've paid for is gone. I have no idea what to do at this point. Without them, the house has a certain emptiness about it. Due to the fact that I am unable to concentrate on anything, I have taken a few days off from work. All the while, I keep praying that this is all just a nightmare and that when I wake up, I will find them here. For my family, there is a part of me that wants to fight. Even though Adam is not my biological son, I have been his parent for the past 14 years. Isn't that something that should be considered? However, when I consider the fact that Rebecca has betrayed me, I find myself wondering if I will ever be able to trust her again. The idea of employing a lawyer has crossed my mind, but I have no idea how to get started with the process. As Adam's non-biological father, do I have any rights or responsibilities? Do you think Rebecca could just take him away like this? It is so overwhelming and I feel so lost. I have also contemplated making an effort to locate them, but I am unsure whether or not this is the appropriate course of action. Do I have the authority to interfere with Adam's desire to be with his biological father if he is truly interested in doing so? Not only does the idea of never seeing him again make me feel sick to my stomach, but I also want him to be content. Rebecca has been dishonest with me for all of these years, and I am furious with her. Her sudden departure in such a manner, without even providing me with the opportunity to discuss the matter, has left me feeling upset. On the other hand, I am primarily devastated by Adam. Be damned by biology, he is my actual son. For the past 14 years I have loved him and reared him. Is it possible to simply delete that? Despite the fact that I am humiliated and ashamed, I have considered making contact with Rebecca's family or others who are acquaintances with us both. Because I have been ignorant of the truth for all of these years, I feel like an idiot. What if they were all aware of it but chose to conceal it from me? Considering everything else that is going on, I don't think I would be able to accept that treachery. There is a portion of me that feel resentment at Adam's biological father as well. Where has he been for the past 14 years? It is unclear why he chose to return at this time. Had he been aware of Adam from the beginning? There is no way for me to acquire answers to the many questions that I have. Like you, I'm worried about Adam. He is abandoning all he is familiar with, including his home, his friends, and his school. Is this really the direction that he should go in? In addition, what about this man? Who is his biological father? Describe the kind of guy he is. Does he have the same love and concern for Adam that I have? Without them, the house has a certain emptiness about it. No matter how hard I try, I just can't seem to force myself to enter Adam's room. His dirty clothing is still in the hamper, and his soccer trophies are still sitting on the shelf for him to admire. They appear to have hurriedly fled, abandoning a significant portion of their lives in the process. As a result of my lack of knowledge of other options, I am creating this post. Does anyone else have any experience with something similar to this? How are you able to deal with it? What are the chances that I will be able to develop a romantic connection with Adam in the years to come? I appreciate you taking the time to read this. Simply letting everything out, even if it's to complete strangers on the internet, can be a little bit of a relief. I never imagined that I would find myself in this predicament, yet here I am. It's possible that life might change in a moment and you never know what's going to happen. Update. Since it has been a few months since my last article, I felt it was important to bring you all up to speed on what has transpired. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone for their support throughout what has been the most difficult period of my life. Kind comments and sound counsel meant more to me than you could possibly know. I received divorce papers from Rebecca not long after I made my original post. It came as a surprise to me when I saw it in black and white, despite the fact that I had anticipated it. At that moment, everything seemed so conclusive and so true. After the initial numbness subsided, I came to the realization that it was necessary for me to actively defend my rights as Adam's father. Without putting up a fight, I couldn't just stand by and let them keep him. I chose to call a lawyer. Financially, it was difficult, especially with Rebecca and Adam gone, but I knew I had to do it. I came upon a respectable attorney ready to handle the payments with me. Given that I'm not Adam's biological father, he cautioned me from the beginning that it would be an uphill fight, but I was resolved to try. The court system was cruel, far more than I had anticipated. The biological father of Rebecca and Adam, David, seemed to have endless means. Given David's reportedly great riches, things got even more challenging for me. Hiring a strong counsel, it soon became evident they would be playing dirty in court. Rebecca and David presented me as a lazy parent unable to support Adam. They brought up my 2 jobs and twisted it to suggest I was never around. They discussed how David might provide Adam with a better life with private schools and luxury trips. Friends of theirs even said they had witnessed me ignore Adam or treat him angrily. I thought I could be in a dream. All I had done out of love for my family was being turned against me. Turning 2 jobs into support for them became neglect. The camping trips Adam and I enjoyed were written off as cheap holidays. Their response appeared to cover everything, and I was beginning to lose hope. Though my attorney gave his all, we were outgunned everywhere. David's money seemed to change everything. Expert witnesses speaking on the value of biological ties were present. Child psychologists testified about how Adam might be better off in a more steady financial environment. They seemed to have covered everything. I got ready for the worst, maybe losing Adam permanently. It was nearly intolerable to consider never seeing him again, of someone else raising him and being called dad. There were evenings when I couldn't sleep. I would lie awake and consider all the events I would miss. Then though, something unanticipated occurred. The court decided Adam himself wanted to be heard. I trembled. And if Rebecca and David had turned him against me? Suppose he expressed wanting to live with them. Hearing Adam declare he wanted me no more made me wonder whether I could manage. I hardly could breathe when Adam stood up. But what followed turned everything around. Adam added, "I want to live with my dad, my real dad, the one who raised me," straight ahead toward the judge. What I was hearing defied belief. Adam continued by saying that he loved our camping vacations, that I was a wonderful parent and how I always made time to assist him with his homework, even though I was exhausted from work. He spoke of how I taught him to ride a bike, how I never missed a soccer game, and how I always made him feel loved and supported. Adam then let forth a bombshell. He told the court David's mother and dad had been attempting to guide him on what to say. Late at night, he claimed he overheard them strategizing how to make me appear worse. They had advised him to say I was often furious and exhausted, that I didn't give his schooling any thought, and that I was negligent. Adam declared he couldn't carry on with it. He knew it was untrue and couldn't lie about the guy who had been at his side all of his life. He even brought up particular exchanges he had heard Rebecca and David talking about how to falsify the facts and testimonial proof against me. The courtroom went still. On Rebecca and David's faces, I could sense shock. Attentively listening, the judge asked Adam several questions to help him to define what he had heard and experienced. Adam told the judge about a conversation he had overheard in which David proposed they bribe some of my colleagues to testify. I regularly complained about Adam or seemed uninterested in his life. Rebecca had been initially reluctant, he added, but David persuaded her it was essential to guarantee they would win. He also recalled overhearing them talk about coaching Adam's teachers to say, "I never showed up for parent-teacher conferences," which was untrue. Though it meant missing business, I had always made time for those. Adam said he missed me and our life together and felt afraid and perplexed by all of this. The hearing's whole tone changed following Adam's testimony. The judge directed Rebecca and David to look into their activities, including efforts at manipulation of a minor's testimony. Their attorney seemed uncomfortable, and I could see Rebecca and David furiously speaking to one another. Reviewing all the evidence and Adam's testimony, the court spent several days. Among the longest days I have ever lived were those. After hearing Adam, I was encouraged. However, I also felt afraid to allow myself hope things would turn around. At last the day arrived for the judge to render his ruling. As we gathered in the courtroom, I was a frightened wreck. The judge began by noting that he had given great thought to all the data offered as well as Adam's testimony. While financial stability is crucial, he noted, a child's best interests are determined by other factors as well. He noted that even though it meant working 2 jobs, I had regularly met Adam's needs. He noted that I had always made time for what mattered most in Adam's life and complimented my commitment to his schooling and extracurricular activities. Regarding Rebecca and David's attempts to control the case and guide Adam's evidence, the court also expressed great worry. This, he claimed, indicated a disrespect for Adam's emotional health and begged questions about their parenting competency. The judge decided at last to award me complete custody of Adam. He added that Adam's wishes and well-being came first and that it was obvious I had been a caring and committed father. He said years of love, care, and dedication define the link between a parent and their child more than just biology. With regard to the divorce, it was approved. I had no want to stay married to Rebecca after all that had happened. Given their attempts to control the case, the judge additionally mandated Rebecca and David pay my legal fees. The comfort and happiness I experienced upon the judge's judgment is difficult to articulate. I started crying as Adam hurried to embrace me. It was as though a weight had been offloaded from my shoulders. I felt as though I could breathe once more, first in months. The last few weeks have been spent learning about our new normal. Adam and I share an ancient house. Financially, it's challenging, but we're making it work. I have to cut back on some things, but Adam knows. He even volunteered to contribute by working a part-time job, but I advised him to concentrate on school and growing up. Adam has been quite remarkable over all of this. He's in therapy to help him sort through all that's happened. I find great pride in his maturity and fortitude. We have had some lengthy conversations on family, faith, and what it means to be a parent. Though it hasn't always been simple, I believe our experience is helping us both grow. Rebecca and David have visiting rights. Adam has made it plain he does not want to see them right now. I'm letting him lead on that. I wouldn't want to put him in any scenario he finds uncomfortable forced upon him. When Adam feels ready, the therapist has advised we go slowly and perhaps begin with supervised visits. Personally, I'm in therapy trying to sort out the stress of the past few months and the betrayal. Though it's not simple, I'm going day by day. I'm beginning to believe once more that even in the worst of circumstances, good things can happen. I had to adjust somewhat at work. My managers have been understanding when I presented the circumstances. I have cut back on some hours to be home more with Adam. Though monetarily tighter, being there for Adam is well worth it. We are gradually coming to our new rhythm. Most evenings today, Adam and I make dinner together. Though we're both really bad at it, we're learning and having a lot of fun throughout. Starting a weekly movie night, we are working through all the classic movies I liked growing up. I want to thank everyone who helped and advised me on my first post. Sometimes the only thing keeping me going was your nice comments. To anybody else experiencing something like this, keep on. The truth finds a way to surface. I am looking forward to the future, as is Adam. Just the two of us enjoy old times, hence this summer we are going camping. It excites both of us as an opportunity to reconnect and create fresh memories. Still difficult are the times ahead. I know there will be difficult days when the hurt and resentment return. Adam and I can, however, also conquer anything together. We shall always have each other no matter what. I appreciate it all once more. It implies more than you're aware of. Here marks fresh starts and the family we will pick.